unit project management, and the topic for today's lecture is project methodologies and the team development. For project success, the methodology give us a very good help and guideline that how it's gonna be delivered in a structured processes and themes and principles. So to decide the right methodology for the project, it depends on the nature, size and complexity of the project. We have a wide range of options that we have to decide. It depends the project manager and the project team to decide the right methodology for the project. So that is the expertise and the experience of the project, which brings quite a big change, a big change in the project success to deliver within scope and within the constraint of the project. We always ask the question, what are project, as per the topic, we say today's question is what are project methodologies. For example, we need to understand what exactly we mean by project methodology, what are the project management different methodologies available to decide the more appropriate one. So basically we believe that a project management methodology is essentially a set of guiding principles and processes for managing a project. So it depends how a project manager or project team make a choice of methodology to define how the team and the project manager can lead the project and how the team can work, how they collaborate, communicate for the project delivery towards its successful completion. So basically a project management methodology is essentially a set of guiding principles and processes for managing a project successfully. So we have quite a range of available different methods for project management within the project management methodology, from very traditional to very contemporary one. So we look into the Waterfall, Prince2, Agile, Lean, the Scrum, and there's a wide range of, let's say, critical path method. So we will be discussing different methods that how the project manager or the project team can decide to choose the more appropriate methodology for project success. When we say project methodologies, we basically getting this clear understanding that a project management methodology is nothing but a set of guiding principles and processes or themes for managing a project successfully. So what methodology one can choose? It all depends on the project team, the project manager, when they consider, depends on the project type, project size and its complexity, as well as it depends on the project scope. So choosing the project management methodology is one of the first decision a project manager or project team they have to make as a first more appropriate decision for the project success. So this methodology for project management, sometimes called a body of knowledge, because it's a set of principles, it's a set of skills and tools and technique and processes which is defined the way we conceptualize, we plan and execute our project. It's basically mixing and matching of the project management tool may not be always a good idea. It's important that everything in our conceptualization, planning, execution within the project management approach, we should make sense this all principles for planning and executions or different guiding principles, how to conceptualize, plan and execute a project that may give a sense in the context of the method that has been adopted to apply for the project delivery. The different methods we're gonna applying here, we're looking to the very traditional one, the oldest methodology, we call it Waterfall. That is the methodology which was which is first in the list, and which is obviously the oldest methodology because it was outlined initially in 1970 by Dr. Winston Rice as a response to managing the increasingly complex nature of project. The waterfall is just like it is named waterfall, like the water stream falling from top to bottom in a sequential order. Since 1970, it has become quite widely adopted and most prominently used project management methodology in complex project in the industry, software, construction, and other manufacturing, engineering, high-tech projects. But the waterfall methodology is a sequential, and it is also heavily required as focused because the requirements are needed from the very beginning of the start of the project, and that has to be have a documents which prepare the case for justification of the project for its initiation, and then we have the complete focus to the planning phase, execution, monitoring, control, and then the maintenance. For example, in software project, we need to get stakeholder involved, their management. We need to find out how to design, construct, execute the data and its retrieval, and then beta version of the product or the software before it is given to the end user when it's installed as a beta version for testing and debugging to remove all the errors, and then after checking the errors it is required the maintenance while to optimize the capability. So it is the methodology which is also heavily requiring the documents at the beginning, where we need to have the crystal clear idea of what the project demands before we proceed further to execute the project. There is also important to note that there is no scope for correction once the project is underway and it is being kicked off and it is initiated. However, there is a sequential linear stage which go from top to the next level. We have the planning phase, and we have in-depth documents to answer all WH questions. That's basically the project management plan with all the master plan and contingency plan in place. Contract negotiation, all the procurement, contracts, subcontracts, and then based on the execution, monitoring, controlling, and then if there is a project required to carry on for its closure and to have the, because it's a quite close project manager's involvement, and you cannot take any further involvement of customers or client for any changes, because that's going to be quite time consuming and costly. As compared to the waterfall, we have the contrast agile. It is another software development focused project management methodology. It is emerged as a response to the failure of waterfall method because of its restrictions and sequential order for managing complex project. Although the agile project management idea had been in use in the software industry for quite a while, it formally came into use in the IT sector, developing softwares and technological or research project in 2001, when several IT representatives they released the Agile Manifesto. So it is the cycle which repeats, and that is where we can get the different stages with the requirement, design, development, testing, deployment, and review of the project, which continues in a cycle. And the important bit here, it is an appropriate approach, and the ideology, basically agile is quite opposite of the waterfall method. As the name implies, this method favor a fast and quite flexible approach for project delivery. There is no top heavy requirement gathering required at the start of the project. Rather, there can be things updated or upgraded as along the line. during the life of the project, execution, planning, and project monitoring and control. It is rather important that this iterative approach with small incremental changes during the life of the project delivery that respond to changing requirements. So we can see that it cycles, it iterate every time there is a feedback and you review. The team is involved, and all the customers, users, and clients, they continuously have the visibility. It's quite open approach to understand what the client want, and if the cycle can be repeated with the agile approach, and then we have to record and incorporate any change, and then we adjust the tracking and the progress of the project. So it's a continuous cycle. We have a small, high functional collaborative teams with multiple methods, flexible approach, and the customer involvement is highly encouraged here. So when we do the comparison with comparative methodology, we can see on one end we have the agile project management, which is believed that's being used for project where the goal is defined, but the solution is unknown. And most of these projects are for software or IT development, or maybe some research related project. However, the traditional pattern, when you compare the waterfall with agile, the waterfall is quite traditional project methodology, which began by defining exactly what the project was projected about to deliver, about the agreed and signed off scope of the project with the customer. The project team started to develop a product or system with these specifications, and later provide the finished product to the client as per the agreed specification with the documents which was started from the beginning. So it is quite sequential linear stage from the start, where we require finding all the requirements for the project. As compared to the waterfall, agile is a continuous cycle, and there may not be much clearer scope for requirement needed at the beginning, because it is iterative and is continuously changing. However, the waterfall you compare is upfront planning and in-depth documentation needed, whereas agile has a small, high-function collaborative team to work and discuss with different sprint and scrum approach. Contract negotiation is quite important in waterfall because it's a sequential format, but in the agile we need multiple methodologies to be in place, where agile use the framework for scrum and sprint, and at the same time the best for simple changing in project. It is for even very small project change will be difficult. However, agile is quite flexible and is continuously evolving, and they encourage any change should not be a problem. However, the waterfall is close project manager involvement, and change is not easily incorporated. It's going to be quite challenging, time consuming, and costly. However, agile on the other side and contrast is a customer open to customers. The involvement is encouraged, and this is iterative as per the requirement and the changing of the need and expectation of customer. So when we look into the Prince2 project management approach and the Scrum, we can see that Prince2 is the official project management methodology of the UK government, which means that the most UK government project are using or considering applying methodology Prince2. However, we can even get the Prince2 certification to make working as a project manager if you want to be certified project manager. So Prince2 has its principles, themes, and processes. On the other end, when you look into the Scrum, Scrum is not a fully featured project management methodology. Rather, it describes an approach to the agile management with a focus on project team, short sprints, and daily stand-up meetings. The idea is basically we look here that which methodologies are using a theme, principles, processes, and standard, And you can see here that the Prince2 is the one which has themes, principles, and processes all together. And then we can see Agile has more based on principles, and Prince2 is more based on processes. And then Scrum, Kanban, and the Scrumban Extreme project, as well as the Project Management Institute, Project Management Body of Knowledge, are also more oriented to the processes of project management. However, the PMI Body of Knowledge and Extreme project are also involving the elements of standards. On the other end, you can see in contrast, Lean is more thematic and there's more theme based. We have the video clip for you, which will be uploaded on the Brio unit shell, and you can watch in your own time. And we will also continue our discussion on the Prince2 and Scrum during our workshop. So the Prince2, at the same time, as we discussed earlier, while the Scrum borrows the principle and processes from Agile, Scrum has its own specific method and tactics for dealing with project management. As it make it earlier, Agile is the philosophy and Scrum is the methodology, while Scrum is Agile, but Agile is not Scrum. So we compare with the Prince2 and contrast. Prince2 can be more traditional as opposed to Agile. And we can see that Prince2 is stand for projects in controlled environment, and it is based, the process is based model for project management. However, it is used now in 150 countries worldwide. It is quite a successful, tailored and customized approach for project management delivery. There are key benefits of project management methodology using Prince2. One of the key benefits, it is focused on business justification. So the business case will justify the business is quite a waterfall approach, and that's why it is believed that the Prince2 is more like waterfall, or more oriented to the waterfall approach. Product-based planning approach is one of the key feature of Prince2. As compared to any other methodology, they are adopting WBS as one of the key feature, work breakdown structure, when we are decomposing the project from complexity into simplicity. Prince2 is adopting or applying PBS, that is a product based structure approach rather than work based approach. That is a product-based planning approach here in Prince2. It divides the project in manageable and controllable stages. So they have different stages, and that is very structured and organized format. But it is flexible. It gives quite tailored and customized approach to apply Prince2 to various wide range of projects. Depends from small to medium to very, very complex nature of project. So Prince2 is a project management methodology, but at the same time, Prince2 is used as a practitioner certificate program. However, Waterfall or Agile, they are developed or development approaches, and each of them with different themes, principles, and processes. Prince2 has different themes. There are functional categories or knowledge areas that of project. The project manager, the project team, they must draw on at any one time during the life cycle of the project management in different phases. So the approach of Prince2, which is quite waterfall oriented, has various principles. There are 7 key principles, including the business case, continuous learning, the assigning and allocating the roles and responsibilities of the team, managing different stages of the project during its life cycle, and then of course management by exception is one of the key principles, and then product based approach to focus not on work, rather what product is there. So it's not WBS approach, rather is a PBS approach. And then it has the principle to customize and tailor it. So Prince2 like a train that needs wheels, comfortable chairs, windows, and a driver. Each part work together to allow it to arrive at a destination in the maximum amount and of effort, efforts. So the Prince2 has themes, principles, and processes, and that is basically giving us kind of set of the important ingredients for processes to be in place to deliver the project successfully. We again have another video for you to watch in your own time, and that is giving you a clear idea about different processes within project methodology Prince2. And this is a graphical illustration how different processes are important, including the business case, organization, governance of the project is another important element for the process. Master plan and the contingency plan. We also looking to the risk management, configuration, and quality in a project environment. So the Scrum as part of the Agile. So Scrum, as we say, is a part of Agile, but Agile is not Scrum. So Scrum is an Agile framework for developing, delivering, and sustaining complex product with an initial emphasis on IT or software development, although it has been used in other fields including research, sales and marketing, advanced technology development, for example. So the Agile is basically giving us a quite iterative approach with the Scrum within the Agile framework. So that will help for a sprint on daily basis or weekly or 4 weekly. Depend if we're gonna use it, the cycle to repeat, depend on the nature of the project. The key difference between Agile and Scrum is that while Agile is a project management philosophy which utilizes a core set of values or principle, and Scrum on the other end is a specific Agile methodology that is used to facilitate a particular or certain project. So that is where we use the sprint block if there's a backlog, and we use the backlog tasks, but again the iterative approach or the iteration of the project, that's to repeat the cycle, can help for meeting the planning, to review the progress on frequent interval, and that is where we come with the Agile approach within Scrum. However, applying the various methodologies from Waterfall to the Prince2, Agile, Scrum, it's important to have the right team in place to run the project successfully and to lead it towards its successful closure. So the team development is one of the important, you can say, process in the project management success, because the process of developing project team is an activity that allows improving internal as well as external interaction of team members. So developing the team member, their competencies, their capabilities, their skills, and updating them with the right skills and right knowledge, and optimizing the overall team environment for the purpose of enhancing the project performance is quite important area to be taken in consideration for the project success. So team development is, we use a Tuckman approach, for example. So every team goes through the 5 stages of team development. So this approach is basically has a background, and it was developed initially in 1965 by Bruce Tuckman, and it is known as a Tuckman approach when we have the stage for forming team, where independent individuals are taken on board for their to create their understanding, but there can be conflicts or challenging each other, storming stage, and then it go to norming, and then they agree and they accept each other to collaborate and coordinate and perform, and then in the end, when the project reaches to its end, that's the adjoining stage. However, the Tuckman approach was based on the research he conducted, Bruce Tuckman, on team dynamics. He believed that the 5 stages are inevitable in order for a group to grow to the point where they are functioning effectively, efficiently together and delivering the high quality result. However, when they reach to the project success, they have the reason for their celebration to enjoy and get the portfolio with pride, being associated with the team to deliver or to complete certain project or projects. So we can see here in this Tuckman model, forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjoining are the 5 key stages, and this is how it's evolving every time a project initiates. We form a new team, a new group of experts together. There can be storming, norming, and performing stages before they are adjoining and they're deployed, or they are dismantled the team and they are reallocated to join another project with other certain set of objective to deliver a project. However, there's another video for you, video clip, a short clip to understand more about Tuckman on the Brioche shell, which you can access and retrieve in your own time within the folder of your workshop week 2. This is just a very specific and brief description of each stage, what exactly we mean by forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjoining stages, and this is where you can see why we have the trophy to celebrate if the project is successfully completed. Before adjoining the team, we can have the reason for celebration of the contribution of all team members. However, that's possible that sometimes you work individually excellently, but when this excellent performance happens when you work as individual, but when you work in a team, it becomes more challenging, and we call this is a term we use, social loafing. In social, for example, in a social psychology, social loafing is the phenomena of a person exerting less efforts to achieve a goal or a team goal when they work within a team or in a group than they are working alone. So as compared to individual tasks to perform, how you work in a team if you put your best efforts. So it is seen as one of the main reasons for the group or the team are sometimes less productive than the combined performance of their member working when they're working as individual. So social loafing is the human tendency to put forth less efforts in a group than individually. It is basically, it results in possibly lower group performance, and it may lead the team or the project toward failure to attain group goals successfully or as it is expected. However, to have anyone who come across this kind of a behavior, you need to share your thoughts. We will have a discussion forum. We will discuss on discussion forum. Please share your thoughts and ideas. If you have come across this kind of behavior when you have a teamwork and you work in a team in your previous experience or currently you're working, and you find that some of the team members are not putting best efforts and that's going to lead the team toward may not achieve the desired success, and how can it be reduced? So what you do to reduce it? So in the next slide we can see when we do social loafing, we are basically trying to work together, and that can be done if we apply some technique, for example, making individual contribute to a group identifiable whenever it is possible. So we use a metric, we call it RACI metric, RACI, that is responsible, accountable or answerable, consulted and informed. So RACI metric can help to identify individual with the assigned responsibility and as well as who's going to be answerable and who need to be informed and consulted. Emphasis has to be given to the valuable contribution of individual members, and then keeping group size at an appropriate level. That is more important for the group dynamics to achieve. And then we can that this element and this technique can help to reduce social loafing. So we need the right team with the best efforts to contribute and the right method of the methodology rather of the project to be adopted and applied to lead the project toward success. So that was the end of our discussion for the second part of today's lecture. However, please share your thoughts and ideas on the raised article and questions on the discussion forum by your tutor, and discussion will be continued during workshop, and you can also share your thoughts and ideas here. Please also spare some time to read your core textbook and recommended books, and enjoy the rest of your week, and hopefully we'll continue our discussion online through discussion forum, and see you in the workshop to continue our discussion, as well as you have to raise any issue that needs more attention during discussion forum and workshop. Enjoy the rest of the week. Keep yourself safe and have a good time, and best of luck. Bye bye.